Hi, my name is Chelsea Zimmerman, and I am doing a project on the standard joint productive activity. Alright, if you look in the middle, that's a small group. That is the starting point to this whole activity. The starting point is that the teacher needs to group the students in maybe 3 to 5 people towards each group. It has to be small so that they can interact with each other and separate from a big classroom. Because with a big classroom, it is hard to get one-on-one time or work to figure out how the students are. Having small groups will help the teacher understand where each student is and how they're understanding the project at hand. That another reason for the small group is it's easier for the students to work together, and the main point of the standard is to help the students interact with each other, encourage each other, and to get everyone working together to make one tangible or intangible product. Alright. Make sure that a big thing about this whole thing is you have to make sure that every student is doing their part. They can't, while you're in the group and I'll be the teacher, while I'm in the group, I can't design one student to do all this work while another student does little to nothing. You need to make sure that every student is doing everything they can to help the group proceed. They also need everyone doing equal amount of work, because if one's doing everything and the others are just sitting there, then you will struggle and the other two won't learn anything, while the one that is doing everything will be learning everything. So you have to have a balance between working together and having everyone do their own part. As a teacher in the atmosphere working with the students, you will be able to make sure every student is doing something, and hopefully they're doing the same amount of work as one another. It will also help this teacher see where everyone is at. Okay, reasons for using the standard in your classroom. First of all, you get to know the students better and where they are at in the placement. Some students may be really good at the subject you're teaching, while others may struggle. For example, I excel in mathematics, while in English I kind of struggle. So, having a small group, a teacher is able to see where every student is at. Also, it helps the teacher see the interaction between the students and see where everyone's interacting and make sure that everyone is getting along with each other. It gets the students more involved in the activity and helps them understand the project and what you're teaching, because being able to do it in smaller groups, you'll have one-on-one time with the students. You'll also have each of the students working together to help one another. This will help with them grasping the topic, because if you're just teaching and putting it on the bulletin board or putting it on the whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever, they're not grasping it as well as if they have another student helping them or pushing them to grasp a topic. To help, also, you will be, as a teacher, will be able to see where every student's at on the topic. The students will be able to work together, while you can see how they are helping one another and see if one is struggling at this point of the topic, so you can be there and be like, oh, well, this is what you're doing wrong, or, oh, well, this is what you need to do in order to get this point. But this teacher should not be the main point of learning. It should be the interaction between the students, but we should all have one common goal in order to get the project done. Alright, for the standards to work, as I said, the teacher does have to be part of it and has to help the students, but if the teacher takes full reign and just does everything for the students, that's not helping anyone. But if the teacher is helping them and pushing them towards the right way of thinking, that will help the students grasp the topic more. It should make sure it is a small group, because that is a big point of the whole thing. Because if it's a big group, as I said earlier, it will not work, because everyone will want to talk, everyone will be in each other's bubbles, and not everyone will be learning at the same rate. No one learns at the same rate. Some learn faster, some learn slower, and with this, it will help you see where each student lies in that aspect of what you're teaching. Alright, so in the video, this teacher, she's making pumpkin soup. She's having, how this represents the joint productivity activity is that the students are all in a small group. There's only 3 of them in this group. The teacher is helping hand in hand with the students. She's helping, but not doing everything. She's having the students do equal parts. One is stirring the pumpkin soup, while some are putting the pumpkins in the soup, and they're all working together. While she's working with the other students, with this group of students, she's also having to help other students by telling them to, oh, do this, oh, do that. So it shows that it's difficult to do joint productivity activities, but it is possible. If you designate different jobs to each student and they work together to make that goal, which is the pumpkin soup in this video, it will be great. In this video also, one of the students hands another student and says, oh, and she's like, good for sharing, you need to share, because every student needs to be helping, not just one doing everything. So they're all working together with the teacher's help to make this pumpkin soup. Alright, so I came up with a little activity that relates to what I'm going into as a career. For my activity, I'm going to have the students get into groups of 3, and then I will work with each one of them, each group, a different day. The first group, while I'm working with these students, the other students will have an activity to work on more over this topic. So with the first group of students, I'm going to have them work on one student is going to work on bar graphs, the other is going to work on pie graphs, and then the other on dot graphs. But they're all going to work together slowly to get bar graph first, and then they're going to get the pie graph, and then they're going to get the dot graph. They're going to slowly work together in order to create these. I will have a problem for each graph, so they have to create them, and then I'll also have problems where they have to pick out which graph is which. In this group, in the end, they'll have 3 different graphs that are laid out, and they will use those graphs to make a presentation to the class. So they have a tangible product that we all work together to create. And every group will go through the same procedure, and I will learn where each student is at that given point of time. The students will work together first to make the bar graph with the product problem, and they will have to tell me how they got every answer. Then they will work on a pie graph. The pie graph's a little harder because it works with percentage, not just points or things like that. So the students will have to work together in order to get the pie graph as a whole. Then they'll work on the dot graph. The dot graph will be quite simple, which for most people, but as they are learning, I will be learning also. I will be helping them reach the goal of what a bar graph looks like, what a pie graph looks like, and what a dot graph looks like. In the end, they will be getting understanding of graphs, because in the next section we will move on from that, but this way I know that they all will understand and grasp, and they'll work together in order to get the final product. This activity is actually a good activity because it will have them all interacting and trying to figure out what's going on in each graph. It will also help them deepen their knowledge of the graphs, so when I move on, they can use this knowledge to grasp the later on concepts that get harder and harder and harder as we go. I will make sure that they all are working together, and I will also help them work together and give them pointers when needed, and I will designate different things for each student to do and work on. My last slide is resources. These are the resources that I did use in this project. They all are from the same website, but I also used some PDF files that are listed on here, and that video earlier on will be one of those resources, but I did not put the link of the video on here. Alright, thank you.